Okay, I'm going to try this video again. Had to have a mama moment part. Sorry about that. So I'm going to start over. Y'all don't know that. I guess I could have kept that to myself, but that's not any fun. Anyway, so here's my Griffin, and I have covered his little backside in satin stitches. But what happens with satin stitches, they're very, very movable, which makes them very, very liable to get damaged or to damage your embroidery. So what we're going to do is we're going to couch some threads down. So we're going to start, for those of you that are new to embroidery, and this is the first time you're playing with it, couching is any stitch that goes on top of an existing stitch to hold the stitches in place. So in this case, Bayou stitch is called a double couch, and I'll explain that when we do the second one. What we're going to do now is a long couch stitch. So like this is the couch as opposed to the love seat, but on bunch. And stitch came out the top again. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch a line straight across from one side to the other. And whether you do this left to right or right to left is completely up to you. Nobody's going to know but you. But you want, since this one was a vertical stitch, this one is going to be a horizontal stitch. So we're going to go straight across here. And hopefully my line is straight. I'm looking at it upside down and kind of tilted so that you can see it. Yeah, it's mostly straight. So it goes from left to right. Now, just like the satin stitch, since I'm on that side, I'm going to start on this side. In this case, I like keeping the stitches very close to each other, the couch stitches very close to each other, just for security. I like the stitches to stay nice and secure, so I will stitch them down really close, and I'm going to cheat and lay the thread over so I can find out where the spot I need to go is. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this all the way down to his foot. Everywhere we've got satin stitches. Depending on what you're working on, how much of this stitch how far away these stitches are can completely change. But if you're looking at the tapestry itself, you'll see that the stitches are pretty close together. So you want to try to keep them a uniform length. And holy cow, what just happened here? Oh, I pulled the stitch sideways. That's going to freak me out. Thank you very much. So we're going to stitch these straight across like this. I'm trying to keep them as uniform as possible. For my linen here, I'm trying, that one went a little bit far, so I'm going to take it out and move it up a spot. I'm trying to keep them about 2 squares, so that kind of works on Aida cloth too. Try to keep them 2 squares together. Sometimes it gets hard to see because you've covered up the bottom. And a lot of people, there's some debate about whether you do the outline of this stitch before you do the inside of this stitch, and I'll be honest, I like doing the inside first because you can go back and clean up the outside in a minute, and I'll show you how to do that. This makes it easier to clean up your lines and define your lines rather than, you tend to have a gap between your satin stitch and your stem stitch if you don't have, if you did the stem stitch first, sorry. So, I'm going to do one more across here like this, and then from here I'm going down into his foot. So from here the stitches are going to get much smaller, and we're going to stay very close. So we're not going to have a lot of extra overlapping awesomeness, I guess you could call it. So we're stitching across here, and I am almost done with all the laid stitch pieces, and I'm getting to the end of my thread, so I'm trying to be very frugal with my thread, even though it's really cheap stuff. Normally at this point I would cut it off and get some more, but since all I'm doing is couching, it's not that much of a problem. So, and now I have finished all of the long couch stitches, so you can see I've now got horizontal lines on top of the vertical lines. But again, with all long line stitches, you'll see I can move these guys, which doesn't make them very secure. So the next stitch I'm going to show you is the short couch, the double part of the double couch. So I will show you how you fix that. And hopefully you see this stitch is very fast. Yeah, I have been working on it for about 20 minutes, and that was taking a pause to fuss at children about cleaning a bathroom. And I already have this much work done. So I could feasibly have him done in less than an hour if I wasn't stopping to talk. So you'll see why it's really cool. It's a great fill stitch too. So here we are. You can see them, both of the stitches. So I will stop here and reload some thread and show you how to do the short couch.